Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So what I'll do today, I will talk about an important concept which you might be aware. That's the person account. Um, so you do know, right? In Salesforce, person account. Um, okay, so let me excuse me, take a step back and let me assume you guys have never heard about person account, right? So what is a person account? A person account is a special type of account, right? Which combines the features of account and contact. So when you talk about account in Salesforce, usually you assume that account is used for organization, like a business or company name, and the contact, right, used for individual, somebody who works for a company or somebody who don't, right? Um, so now you must be wondering, right, when you have a contact record, why do we even need a person account, right? So the person accounts are usually designed for scenarios where your customers are individuals rather than companies. For example, B2C customers like, education providers or membership organization. So um, you got to be a little bit careful when you deal with a person account, right? Because like I said, right, um, it's a um, the account, so the object model changes a bit because normally when you talk about an account is it's an account record, but when you talk about a person record, it's a combination of account and context, right? And so the few things you need to be aware that it's not enabled by default. So when you register for an org, you might see you have to enable this. So what you can do, right? So if you go to this, you log into your org, right? And if you do not have an org, just I would highly recommend you should log into the free version. That's the developer version. So you can go to login.developer.com and you can register it, right? There are different ways you can do that. There are a lot of documentation out there, and I've even spoken about it so many times. So once you have a once you have an org, and once you log in, so you go to this Gecko icon, and you go to setup. Now, one other thing you might notice when you register for a new org, you will be getting Data Cloud option free, which is fantastic, right? So I have done some courses on Data Cloud, some like 17 videos. So if you're interested, please check that out. I haven't completed it yet. I still need to do a few more, but yeah. So under setup, right? So quick find, just look for person account. So usually when you go to the person account here, um, you got to do a few things before you enable it. So if you try to disable it, uh, you can't disable it. This is about the reports, right? So usually, okay, so when you uh, when you go to this option person account, you will get different steps you need to do to say, hey, make sure you have a record type, make sure you have configured a few things. You will get different steps to do that, right? So and you go here, enable it. Once you enable it, you can't disable it. Excuse me. Um, so once that's done, you when you go and log into your account. Excuse me. Something on my throat. It's just a winter, so my apologies. So when you go to your accounts, right, when you try to do new, um, you will see a journal account and person account. So if you do general account, you will see different fields, account number. Let's do one thing, right? Let's say I would say Mark David. Okay, and just to say okay. Now this is a very simple account. All right. Now if you go to contact, excuse me. If you go to contacts and if you try to look for Mark, um, um, you won't find any Mark information here, right? Because it just I've created an account, So you won't find account information in the contact because it's a regular account, right? Which is associated with the business. However, if I go and create a person account, now if you go to the person account, if I do new, right? If I do person account, you see the field changes. It's a combination of the first name, the account and the contact. So I would say Mr. Mark, you see Davidson, right? And if I try to save, let's see what happens. Okay. So this you can control it using your page layout. So I'll just fill it for now. I'll just put random numbers. Just do this one, right? And I do save. Okay, so now we got um, a person account, which is under account. So if I close it, and you can see that now we have a Mark Davidson under contact. So if I click on here, it will take you to the person account screen where you can go to the details, right? Where you have Mark Davidson accounts and stuff, right? So now if you go to accounts, um, and if you go to the Mark Davidson, it takes you to the same screen. So you just need to remember one thing, right? One of the issues with the person account is the storage. So because you're creating two records behind the scene, so it's double compared to a regular account. So just don't go crazy with the person account. So you just need to understand, right? Um, so that's one of the um, thing you need to understand. Person accounts are actually a record type of an account, so they still live in account object, but just behave differently. So just need to uh, be careful about that. Um, and also, one of the thing you just need to remember that in person account there is a field that's called is person account flag. If I go to, let's say, developer console, um, where is it? I'll show you something interesting. It's quite slow for some reason. So select, I presume, name is person account from account. So if I do a query, so you can see all of this are false because these are not person account. But there are a couple of them, like the Mark Davidson, right, which we created just now. That is set to true. So this is a person account. So if you're using in an API, if you're trying to use it in a query, and if you want to deal with just with a person account, you just have to use this flag each person account equal to true. So that just from a database perspective, right? How you can query, how you can retrieve the information, right? Um, so yeah, and this is one of the basic concept, but I thought it's very important from a data architecture certification perspective because this is one of the topic they expect you to know, though it's a quite admin topic, right? So you need to understand one thing when you have a um, the person account. So you will have account and contact record created behind the scene. So the storage will increase. So if you have like millions of records, so you just have to be a bit careful, right? Like I said, don't just go crazy with it. Just to say, hey, we have a person account. Why we even bother creating the contact, right? Uh, I mean the regular one. Instead, we can create a person account. So just be careful with that stuff because it needs to be architected properly. You need to understand why you actually want to do that, right? And so, one of the mistakes I often see in people do, right? They just go crazy with the person account. So that's pretty much I wanted to cover. I understand, I appreciate the fact it's a pretty simple topic, but it's just good for me to include it for the completion of this course. Um, so we still got a lot of things to cover. So that being said, hope you guys have an amazing Sunday. Adios.